Hello, Run the World Summit. I am live. You probably don't know me. My name is Sarah Stockdale, and I am the founder of a company called Valkyrie. I'm online right now for a Q&A session to offer some, hello. Hi, how are you doing? I'm here to basically just offer some free growth marketing advice to the Run the World Summit community. I'm super excited to be here. Please ask me any of your questions. I can give a quick background on me, and then I'm going to be providing a couple of growth tips to help you. Hello, nice to meet you all. Hey, hello everyone. I'm going to be providing some growth marketing tips to kind of help you grow your businesses. This is a really weird time, so I just want to be as helpful as I can possibly be in this amount of time. Hello everyone. So super quick background on me, which is not important. I want to hear about your businesses, but my name is Sarah Stockdale. I'm the founder of a company called Valkyrie, and what we do is growth marketing training. So I've spent my entire career growing early stage technology startups, both in Toronto and in Silicon Valley, and they've been acquired by multi-million-dollar companies. So I've been doing this for a little while, and it's been great. It's been a trip. If you're not familiar with growth marketing, really what that means is just a combination of data, product, and traditional marketing techniques. And we kind of blend those together to make really effective, scrappy, data-driven experimental marketing. And I started kind of building this. I started Grow Class because there weren't enough inclusive spaces to learn this stuff. The spaces that existed were incredibly bro-y. Growth marketing. The topic is growth marketing. Places to learn this were very San Francisco. They were very bro-y and they just didn't feel welcoming. And so I'd spent my entire career doing this, and I just want to help more entrepreneurs and more companies get really good at doing a lot with not a lot of resources. Hello, everyone. So today I'm going to kind of go over some tips for continuing to grow your business when times are a little bit uncertain and a little bit challenging. We know that nothing is normal right now. So if I was going to just come on here and tell you here's some sunny, fun growth marketing tips, like that to me isn't a good use of your time. It's not a good use of my time. So let's address the giant, horrifying elephant in the room and start here and try to give you good advice to grow your businesses. So before we dig in, I want to just mention that it's okay if you're not feeling energized, if you're not feeling ready to focus on the growth of your business right now. This time is really messed up. Mentors of mine said it's like taking out an engine from a Mustang and replacing it with a dinky lawnmower one. So be super gentle with yourself during this time. I know a lot of people are telling you to write a book or start a company, but you need to do what you need to do for you to make sure that you are protecting your own energy and doing what makes sense for you and for your business. So hello, everyone. So caveat aside, we're going to kind of dig into some tips for how to think about growing your business right now. And then mostly I'm here to answer your questions. So I want to hear about your businesses. I want to hear about what you're struggling with, and I want to be as helpful as I possibly can be. So my first tip is listen before you leap. Fear makes us run really fast. And often we do that blindfolded with two hands tied behind our backs, like sprinting headlong into trees. So a lot of companies are making bad assumptions about customer behavior without kind of figuring out what's actually going to happen. Someone asked what growth marketing is. I will answer that super quickly. Yes, I pin the topic. I'm just going to pin the topic. It's growth marketing for your business. I've never pinned a topic before. Friends, I'm new to this. I'm new to IG Live. I'm so sorry. Oh, pin comment. Got it. Done. Look at that. Figuring out new things all the time. So growth marketing, what I'm going to be talking about today is a combination of product, data, and traditional marketing techniques. So the first kind of tip I have for growing your business during COVID is listen to your customers before you make decisions. A lot of people are just panicking and making really detrimental decisions in their businesses. Your customers may still be looking for solutions to their problems, but it's key to acknowledge that their problems have changed rapidly and are continuing to change. So you have to do some deep customer empathy work to figure out where people are at and what are the things that you can do in your business to provide them value. If you're a freelancer in social media marketing, maybe it's not freelancing in social media marketing right now. Maybe it's positioning and messaging and helping them coach their customers. But first, to know whether or not that's the right thing to do, you have to listen deeply to what your customers are saying. If you don't have a customer advisory board right now, I highly recommend that. Ask some of your customers if they'll sit with you and have conversations with you once a month. You can compensate them by sending them cookies or taking them out to dinner once we're allowed to leave our houses again. But make sure that you're doing that deep customer work and that you're having those conversations before you make any decisions in your business. Now that you have some data on your customers, not just on how they're using your product right now or how much they're buying, but the conversations that you've had with them in person or not in person, 6 feet apart, on the phone, now you can start adapting your business to survive in this new climate. Your customers' needs are changing, so you have to be very flexible and adapt to serve them. Sorry, I've got notes next to me and they just closed. So we're good. We're good. So you're going to need to address new needs head on and rapidly. So for example, a bakery in my neighborhood, like 2 days into this crisis, put in a walk-up window with a plexiglass covering for health and safety. And rapidly, I'd honestly never seen anyone in this bakery previously. Like I would just walk by it and wonder if it's a front. And they had lines down the street, very, safe, spaced out lines down the street. Just because they took that quick action, they spent $100 and they put that walk-up window in because they understood that their customer needs were going to change rapidly. And in Grow Class, we use a 3-step process to try to figure this out. So in growth marketing, we're always running experiments. Instead of doing things like kind of sitting with a bunch of your kind of marketing team or talking to a whole bunch of people in your company and then coming up with something and putting it out in front of your customers, what we teach is how do we lean test this and create an experiment so that we can figure out if our assumptions about our consumer behavior or sales or our marketing messaging works. And if it doesn't, exactly, it's about paying attention and being creative, paying attention being the most important piece. But it's also about being incredibly fast and scrappy. So how do you test that you have an idea? How do you test your assumptions without spending a ton of money? And I use an example of this quite often. My friend Alyssa has a company called Lilia, and it's a fertility company because she experienced a problem herself. She was looking for really good information on her own fertility and some testing, and she couldn't find a lot of really great resources. So she thought, okay, I wonder if other women are experiencing this problem. And so what she did was she threw up a landing page, she put the value proposition of the product she wanted to build, not something she'd already built, just an idea that she had, and positioned it as though it was already in market, as though it was already a real product. And then what she did was took $300 and ran ads to that landing page, and she broke the payment page right before someone could confirm their credit card and just said, hey, it's not available in your location yet. Just to see if the problem that she had, she could validate that not only that people had this problem too, but that they would actually put their credit card down to solve the problem, because that would give her enough insight that that is something that she should build. So that's the kind of marketing that we teach. And that's the kind of marketing that I think people should be practicing, especially right now. Super experimental, incredibly scrappy, and really lean on resources and lean on budget. So we teach a 3-step process for this. And that process is learn, validate, and share. So the first piece, and we talked about this a little bit already, is the customer empathy work and research used to determine if the customer actually needs your product or if the customer can actually understand your positioning. Test the solution before you build the solution. So, i.e., an idea of this is, what if we tested free curbside delivery for 14 days? if we can increase the volume of orders and we can keep our customers safe, we're going to offer this ongoing. But let's run an experiment. Let's run a test to see how much this costs us, to see if this increases demand for our product, to see if this helps us pivot to this new reality. So we're going to learn. And then we're going to validate. So that the validate phase is my assumption, is my if-then statement, my marketing hypothesis correct? Maybe it's not, and most of the time it won't be. But what you want to do is run a lean test of that experiment to validate your assumptions, your cost estimates, and your performance. And then you iterate on that execution as you continue to learn. So it's always kind of this cyclical learn, validate, share process. So curbside pickup, for example. Your learn phase, okay, we realize that our customers foot traffic is not coming into our small shop. There's no way that people are gonna kind of walk into our business right now, but we're gonna offer curbside delivery for free in a small area for 14 days. We've learned that we think our customers' needs have changed. Now we're going to validate that with a small test. We're gonna give it 14 days. We're not gonna commit to it forever. We're gonna figure out how much it costs us. We're gonna figure out if it increases volume and demand. And then we're gonna iterate on that execution to make it better and better and better over time. And then the share piece of this formula is how am I gonna make sure that I don't make the same mistakes again? If the experiment that I ran, I validated it wasn't necessarily the best idea for my business, how do you share that information, keep that information in your company, and make sure that you're, giving that to the best, giving it to everyone in your team that matters. So there's some questions coming in. Amazing. What would you say are the qualities of a successful growth marketer? I love it. A lot of growth marketers traditionally in San Francisco came out of computer science roles. And this is because they have a super kind of data-driven mindset and they're always looking for ways that you can change the product to grow versus the marketing. What I would say, and I don't believe you have to be a computer scientist to be a great growth marketer. I think if you are incredibly resilient because you're going to constantly be proven wrong, you're gonna run headfirst into walls all the time, and you need to be able to get back up and continue to experiment and continue to try new things. So super resilient, a little bit stubborn, I'm an Aries and I find that helps a lot, super, super stubborn, and data-driven. So we don't make decisions without good data. So we always want to watch consumer behavior and make all of our decisions based on what people are doing in reality, not what we think might happen. So it's not really like a Mad Men thing. We're really watching the numbers to make good decisions. If you're selling a service like music, interesting. So I'd love to hear more about that. What kind, are you selling your own music? Are you selling a streaming service? If you could give me a little bit more information, I can help. But I would say if you're selling something online, this is even more compelling and interesting because when you're selling something online, you can whip up landing pages, you can test copy, you can test your ads. There's so many different things that you can run experiments against to try to get to a level of truth. If it's your own music, okay, I have a really good example of this, and I'm gonna try to remember the name of the artist, the Old Town Road. I'm trying to remember the name of this person, the person that did the Old Town Road. So I need to look it up because it won't be a good enough story without it. But so basically the writer of the song Old Town Road, which I'm gonna figure out who that is in a moment. So they basically growth hacked their entire career. So what Lil Nas X, there we go. So what Lil Nas X did to growth hack his career, which I found, thank you, which I found absolutely brilliant. So he had been creating music for about 6 months when Old Town Road just blew up. And the way he did that was he was watching memes and watching trends, and he would post his music on Twitter, but his music never really got that much traction on Twitter. But what was getting a lot of traction were memes that he was posting on Twitter. So he looked at a whole bunch of trends in the meme community and saw that this country trend was kind of up and coming. And so he built a song around the fact that he saw, no, he did not blow up by mistake at all. He was a genius. So he built a song basically around this meme trend of country memes. And he positioned it perfectly so that it would be really hard to determine whether it was a hip hop or a country song. So a whole bunch of different charts would pick it up in Spotify and on Apple Music. And he basically rode memes. So he asked for a whole bunch of feedback. A lot of this happened on Twitter and then on TikTok, which was the way that he really blew up. Starting kind of dance crazes and meme crazes on Twitter. But all he did was carefully watched what people were consuming and what people were sharing and created content to kind of match these trends that were up and coming. And it's not necessarily, it's a pretty brilliant, he kind of growth hacked his entire career, which I found really smart. And he was incredibly experimental with it. So he tried a whole bunch of different kinds of music. He would just like get samples online and build things around them and then test them with his audience, which was really small at the time, and get kind of feedback and then iterate on the next version of the song. So it's not necessarily like a very artistic creator style of building music, but it's really smart for internet culture and especially for TikTok culture, because if you can get a trend going on TikTok, you're going to see your Spotify numbers go through the roof. We're talking about Lil Nas X. So anyway, that's just a tangent on how you can kind of use some of these principles of growth marketing in the music industry. So the concept of growth marketing, this is a great question. Thank you. Where did the concept of growth marketing come from? So it came from Silicon Valley. So this was a way that early stage technology companies, mostly venture funded technology companies, would try to figure out how to get growth when their competitors had huge marketing budgets and when they didn't really have very much money or any real way to get in touch with customers. So they would find a whole bunch of different interesting kind of hacky ways to get in front of people. And one of the early things that people would do is try to find out which big businesses had their users and kind of piggyback on that. So for example, early days with Airbnb, what they did was they realized that people were listing their apartments on Kijiji. So like, hey, I have an apartment, you can rent it, it's on Kijiji. And what Airbnb did was they ran a lane test and they said, okay, we can say that we want to rent these apartments. I can be an avatar of Sarah. I want to rent this apartment, but I don't rent through Kijiji. I only rent through this platform called Airbnb. You should list it there. And they tested this manually a few times. And then they coded a bot to basically scrape Kijiji and send messages to everyone renting their apartments and say, hey, you should list on Airbnb. And that's how they got their first 5,000 customers. So growth hacking very much comes out of Silicon Valley, but it's transitioning into a lot of different types of businesses now. Yeah. Absolutely. Memes and TikToks trending. I'm pretty sure he just followed hashtags. I'm pretty sure Lil Nas X just followed hashtags to try to figure out what was blowing up, like what had already blown up, because that's probably, it's not a good leading indicator. Like something that's already been popular is a bit of a lagging indicator. You don't want to jump on at the end. You want to jump on at the beginning. So he wanted to see what things were on the come up, not already peaking. Does anyone have any questions about their own businesses that I can help with? If not, I will just keep talking because I've got more advice. Okay, cool. Feel free to poke them in and I will just pause and answer your questions. So my last tip, the first one, deep customer empathy work. Don't make decisions without understanding your customers. The second, once you have that deep customer insight, start running experiments to figure out what you think would work. And the last one is focus on your people. So if you already have customers right now, if you're an entrepreneur or a freelancer and you're already working for a couple of businesses, focus on those businesses. Retention is the most important metric for growth. You want to keep those people, especially in challenging times. So think about strategies to add additional value for your current customer base because you don't want them leaving at this time. So this is a great example. Companies that deal with live events and classes have done a really good job at just offering to pause the service, not to cancel the service, because then they're going to have to like reactivate that customer. But if you pause it, then once we're allowed to go back to live events, or we can go and use our ClassPasses accounts again, they can pull them back quite easily if their accounts are just on pause, not canceled. So examples of customer retention. So customer retention basically just means kind of on day one, how many of your customers are still with you on day 31. So you want to see over time, month over month, week over week, how many of your customers are still staying with your business. And that basically gives you an indication of a couple of things. One, that you're actually proving that you can offer value for that customer, right? If they're staying month over month, if they're paying you month over month, that means that you're offering them value, and that's a good like thumbs up for your business. You're doing something right. It also means that you're solving a problem, that the problem is persisting over time. And right now, a lot of companies are finding that they were solving a problem before, and that problem no longer exists anymore. Maybe they were solving a problem for transit and no one's taking the subway. So they're gonna have to pivot what problems they're solving. But if you are a freelancer or a consultant, your retention basically just looks like your clients staying over time, because you really want those people, A, to have a great experience with you as a business owner, and B, you want them to tell their friends, because word of mouth growth is the highest quality growth you can possibly get. So you really, really want them to have a great experience with your business, so they go and tell their friends, and you can use that as testimonials and reviews on your website. So when it comes to retention, ask yourself a couple of key questions. Is there content we can create to help our current customers? What can we offer our community to help them through this time? How can our product or service best serve them through this period of uncertainty? Some great questions. How do you recommend making a pivot in an industry you're already in? So I would figure out kind of who's operating in the space you want to be in. Who's doing a really great job of that right now, and what does their business look like? I am like a huge proponent of like just getting good insight on what other people have done well. It's actually interesting to see what other people have failed, how things maybe not worked for them, and how can you learn from those mistakes so you don't have to make them with your own money or your own business. But I would say, look to see who's doing what you want to do incredibly well. If they're running Facebook ads, I'm very curious about what those ads say. So you can go to Facebook ad library and look and see what are your competitors, what kind of content are they putting out? Because that gives you an idea of what keywords people are searching for, so that you can start positioning your landing pages to pivot properly. There are more questions, I'm told, up here. I want to start a business that generates income through a digital medium. Where should you start? Start with problems. What are problems that you have a skill set that you can solve? So a lot of people say, I want to make money online. And that's not an interesting value proposition for anyone, right? Like, I want to make money online doesn't say that you're about to give value to a customer. So my question is, what are your strengths? What are people struggling with? What are the problems? And what is that Venn diagram? Where do those things intersect? The things that you're really great at and the things that people really need right now. Because that's going to create a niche for you that you're going to be able to solve problems for people, add real value to them and help, and generate income for yourself and make money. So I would start making a list of those two things. What are the things that you're best in class at, that you're really fantastic at? And what are the things that people are struggling with, or things that people really need right now? And you can actually look at, there's some really good resources to kind of see what people are searching for. One of them is called Exploding Topics. And you can just look in your industry and in your niche, what are the things that a lot of people are searching for right now? And that's going to give you kind of an indication of what are some of the problems I can solve with my skill set that are actually in demand in the market. There are more questions, I'm told. What are examples of running experiments? Everything I do. So to give you an example, so Grow Class, which is my company, started out as an experiment. basically what we found was a lot of companies in tech were trying to hire people who do what I do, hire growth marketers. And I was offering them strategies as a consultant and working with banks and working with kind of medium-sized startup tech companies. And they had these kind of plans, but they couldn't find the talent to execute the plans. They were trying to hire people to do this work, and they couldn't actually find the right people. So I was trying to help them find the right people. I was trying to train their people. And through that, we kind of built a program to help people learn this stuff. And one of the hunches or the assumptions that I had were, it's not just companies, other people, entrepreneurs, e-commerce founders, other people actually want to learn these skills. But I love teaching, I love doing this stuff, I love helping people, but I wanted to know if there's actually demand for that, because we had already built this program that was working really well in companies. So we put up a landing page and said, hey, we're going to teach people how to do this work. We're going to teach founders to do it in their own businesses. We're going to teach marketers how to kind of bend their skills and their career set to level up. And we sold out on the first day. So we put up the landing page. We said, we're going to start it on this day. It was a complete experiment. We wanted to see if there was demand in the market. And the market said, yeah, we're all in. We want this. We want this product. And so we pivoted our business to focus solely on kind of training, helping, advising, and mentoring these folks. So you can make your entire business an experiment. You always want to have that validation from customers before you build and spend money and time. So many entrepreneurs are like, yeah, but I have to have perfect business cards. I have to have a perfect landing page. I have to have beautiful photography. And I'm like, no, don't do any of that. Find out first if you're building the right thing. Find out first if people want what you're offering, and then do all the beautiful things later. Because if you spend all the time building the website, building the social channels, getting the photography, and you put it out into the world, you might be close, but you might not have actually keyed in on a real problem that people are experiencing. So I always say, find the problems. How did you sell out on the first day? So this is the other kind of piece that I tell, especially people who want to be freelancers or consultants. Your network is the most important thing that you can cultivate for your business. So I'm very fortunate that when I was 21, I started building a really strong network and a really a bit of a following on social. And I also built credibility in my industry. So I worked my ass off for 12 years before we launched this. So I had some name recognition in tech, and people had been asking for this content. So we built a bit of an email list, and we went out, honestly, we went out on my personal social channels and sold it out that day from that. But that was mostly the power of that network and the power of the credibility statement that I had. But if you are doing this for the first time, I would say building an email list is the best way to launch something. So again, deep customer empathy work. What do people need? How can I help? What are the free resources I can build? Start building up that email list first, and then go out and launch to them once you've already provided value. Ooh, advice on growing and cultivating your network. People are humans, not numbers or a LinkedIn list. People are complex, they have their own needs, and relationships are two-way streets. So a lot of people out of school ask me about networking, and they kind of see it as a transactional experience. They go to networking events, they get business cards, end of networking. And that's actually not what anything is. No one wants that. That sounds like a very bad cocktail party. So really, networking is about developing good relationships with people, adding value to their experiences, and making sure that you stay in touch. When you meet someone, send them an email and tell them how great it was to know them. Try to remember as many names as you can. If you need to create naming conventions in your head when you meet new people. It's hard. I'm bad at it. But it's so necessary for your career to start adding value to other people and building those relationships. And honestly, going to events does help, as long as you don't see it as a transactional networking experience. As long as you see it as the people that I meet here, who we hit it off, who you think you could have a really great coffee with. Okay, how do I kind of ask for that next step in the relationship without taking advantage of their time or making it an energy suck on them? When a student reaches out to me, if they've done any research on me at all, I will say yes. they say I read this blog post, or I, read your newsletter, or anything, like anything that says they don't just want to reach out to someone with my job title, they want to reach out to me. That is incredibly important to me when someone asks me for my time. I also I like numbers. So if you say, can I have a 15-minute phone call on this date? That is a lot easier than say, can I pick your brain? Because now there's a lot of back and forth that needs to happen if you're just picking my brain. But if you say, can I have a 15-minute phone call with you on April 17th? Much, much easier for me to say yes. So be really respectful of folks' time and make it really easy for them to say yes to you. Awesome. Any more questions before I head out? We're at the half-hour mark. I don't want to bore folks. Amazing. Okay. Well, it was so lovely chatting with all of you. Where can you find industry? I might need you to qualify that question a little bit. Yeah, a lot of people don't prefer let me pick your brain. Pick is just a gross word. Like, I would prefer a legitimate question. Like, why me specifically, and what can I specifically help you with? And if I can do that over email, even better. Because especially the people that you want to talk to, the people that I want to talk to don't have a ton of time. Yeah. Industry exploding topics. That is, my great suspended it, explodingtopics.com. explodingtopics.com. And a great kind of easy first crack at an email list, just Webflow is a great website developer tool. It's my favorite one. And just pair it with your favorite email tool. How do you grow your email list? Great question. Ask yourself, with how you're growing your email list, ask yourself, what does your customer want? What is kind of value you can create for them? And that value can be used as lead magnets. So basically, lead magnet is just give me your email in exchange for a piece of content. And in order to create really great lead magnets, we have one out right now that's kind of how do you grow your business in challenging times, with just like a guide, how you grow your business in challenging times guide. Just be on the pulse of the people that you're looking to grow your email list. Create a really great piece of content. Ask for the email as part of the download. You can run ads to it if you've got a small amount of budget, or you can send it out via social channels. I would say methods are available for payments. Is it expensive? Anything to watch out for? Payments, just to collect money. I use Stripe. Stripe is common. 2.9% plus 30 cents is normal. So don't go with anything higher than that. If you use a Shopify store, they've got their own payments plan, which is great. Amazing. Oh, I'm based in Toronto. Canadian. Tool for email. So you can use, I use Webflow. If you need a landing page, you can use Webflow, Unbounce, Lead Pages. And then for email, like MailChimp is easy and it's free up to your first 1,000 customers. So I would say MailChimp's an easy one to get started with. If you need anything complex, it's not great for that. But if you're just getting started with an email list, MailChimp's probably the easiest one for you. Fellow Torontonian, yay! Toronto people, Canadians. I love it. We're all in our houses. So look, I'm in the jungle actually right now, because that's what my office looks like. Amazing. Oh, awesome! I love all these Torontonians. Hello, Canadian friends. Hey, everyone. What's going on? All right, well, I'm wrapping up, but I'm gonna save this, so if anyone wants to kind of come back to it and look at it, go for it. And if you need me, I'm at valkyrie.io, and my name is Sarah Stockdale. I'm at SK Stockdale on Instagram. Hopefully I will see you all soon. Take care.